when I'm not kicking it with my biggest fans at a meet and greet, I like to answer questions that I get on YouTube. So let's get to it. This is extremely helpful. Longtime guitar player with little formal teaching. I've been struggling. How would you recommend to incorporate this without making a bridge feel like a bridge? Meaning, how do you stay away from the verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, blah motif? So this is in response to a video I did last week about maybe how you can start approaching making a bridge. And one of the big points is that is if the song shouldn't have a bridge, don't put a bridge in it. So a lot of what is at the heart of this question is kind of like how to make my playing, my songwriting less basic, because like you said, the traditional tried and true kind of Beatles formula of like having a verse and then back to the chorus, then the verse and the chorus again, and the bridge or a solo, then back to the chorus. It's kind of something that honestly really isn't that creative musically. Something I try to stay away from. Now, I don't want to say that's a bad thing to do because a lot of times the music is really just the accompaniment to like a message. And the interesting thing about that motif is it's familiar. So whatever message you want to package into that in a songwriting way is just kind of like it's all about what you're trying to say. So again, not that there's anything wrong with that, but for me, I think of musicality in writing different parts to be more about sections rather than like verse, chorus, bridge, whatever. So, if it starts out with a section, then like that'll like maybe lead itself into another area, which could be considered a chorus for sure. Like if you listen to my music, there's definitely stuff that there's a component of like verses and choruses as far as like when things get called back. But I think one way to make things less basic is like, let's say you're just starting out, let's do something in the key of A minor, right? So we have the 6 main chords, or we can even say that's the 7 total chords of A minor. A minor being the 1 chord, B diminished as the 2 chord in A minor, then C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, back to A. So let's say we just want to make up some kind of chord progression out of those. We just take like an A to an F to a G, something like that, right? That's pretty common, in that key. We're avoiding a C major, so it doesn't make it sound major-ish. It's very minor, right? So maybe if we want to have a section change, this could be a good opportunity to go to a C, right? Because that G is always going to lead back to where it's the 5th of C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so maybe that's like the next section of that. Now, we can just kind of come up with other different arrangements of that chord. C, E minor, A. I'm just randomly doing this, right? And that can bring us back to the A minor, F, G part, right? And even that in and of itself is kind of limiting because you only have those like 7 main chords to work with. So one thing that you could do to kind of make that progression go somewhere else and make a different section is to start taking chords from a different key, something like that, right? And not even necessarily like, a parallel minor key or something like that, like just changing like keys. Let's take a whole different methodology of building chords. So one thing I've been experimenting more with, and I might do a video on this if you're interested in the future, is just the chords in A harmonic minor, right? Because essentially all that is, once we change one note in a key, all the chords become different, right? So the notes in A minor are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And all those chords that we just talked about making come from those notes. If we take one note that's different, if we replace all the G's in that entire chord scale with G sharp, we get totally different chords. We still have A minor, but instead of A minor 7, we would have like an A minor major 7. And right off the bat, that's such a different, interesting sound that can take your chord progressions to a different place, right? So instead of just maybe, okay, I just want to make a bridge with this, well, why don't you just think of it as a totally different section of the song and then start populating the chords with like maybe that A minor major 7. You can still use that B minor 7 flat 5. When you get to the C, now it's the C augmented chord. You can still have D minor, now it's E major, F major, and then G sharp diminished 7 will take you back to A. So really that's just something that kind of opens up a whole other realm of where you can take a song, right? And I think that's just a really good way to kind of make things a lot less basic because you're really dealing with 2 different things, right? Or 2 different tonal centers in how you're kind of approaching your chord building and how you're approaching making chord progressions. So I really think that kind of thinking of different pools of chords is a great way to lead just a progression into different sections. Whether it's like, okay, all right, here's another verse, here's another chorus. Well, maybe, you know, if we said, like we said, that first verse in the example is A minor to F, G. Well, what if we kind of like threw a curveball in there, and then like as soon as I get to that F, maybe I'm thinking of that G sharp diminished 7. Again, let me know if you guys want to see a video on like in-depth stuff of like how you make these chords and how you can use them. But the first time around, it could be A minor to F to G, then A minor to F. So right there, that's just kind of like an example of like I'm replacing a G with a G sharp diminished 7, and that really takes the song in a different direction, where, you know, maybe you could even think of that part as just a bridge, but that's a great way to kind of get out of the formulaic way of writing song progressions, because even if you're using different keys and you're just using the same, you know, 1 chord major, 2 chord minor, 3 chord minor, 4 chord major, 5 chord major, 6 chord minor, 7 chord diminished way of thinking, then I think you will kind of find that you end up getting almost kind of trapped in that diatonic prison, so to speak. So that's just kind of one way that you can maybe start using a different key, use a little bit of music theory, and then take your stuff in new directions. This video sounded so good in your head, didn't it? All right, Salty Blues commenter, very bold of you to assume that I think of these videos in my head before I just turn the camera on and start shooting. You're a clickbait and I'm drunk. The honesty is appreciated. Why do so many mixed comparison videos feature a singer with an accent? Like, that's nothing against people with foreign accents, but the proportion of accent versus non-accent singers in videos about sound is crazy to me. The words sound different due to the accent, and that can throw it off if you're trying to listen to articulation of sound. I'm gonna file this under most American comment of the week. The proportion of singers on YouTube that have an accent versus those who do not is almost equal to the portion of the people in the world that are not from America, that are from America. So what does a degree in communications mean? I could Google it, but I want to hear what you say. So yeah, I have an actual degree from college, for those of you who didn't know, and it's in communications. What does that mean? I still don't know, but I remember being at college for a long time, paying a lot of money, and they told me I had a degree in communications. It was one of those things where it's like, all right, I'm in my junior year, and I was like, I wonder if this is the year that they're going to start teaching me something applicable to life. And it's like, no, that wasn't junior year. Then it was senior year. And it's like, maybe, you know, this is definitely going to be the year that they teach me some life skills. No, didn't really happen. So lucky enough, I was able to teach myself guitar in the downtime I had while I was at college. And I guess I do have a job. And, you know, we're communicating right now, so arguably that's a communications thing. It's also funny, too. I remember senior year, we're all like, so what kind of jobs do you even get with a communication degree? And they're like, oh, you know, there's a lot of different things. You probably start at like $80,000 a year out of college. And we're like, okay, cool, that sounds great. That didn't happen. Let me tell you what. But so if anybody out there knows what I should be doing with my communications degree, please let me know. I'm all ears. So at NAMM a couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to kick it with my real homeboy for life, Andy Guitar, and he hit me with some questions that we're going to do the whole thing over on his channel, but I'm going to use some of them now. So please enjoy some NAMM floor questions where I'm screaming into a microphone, because even amplified to an amp right next to me, I still can't really hear what I'm saying. So check this out and then go show Andy some love.
Questions from the public. Oh, wow. That was a ridiculous one that my phone just fell to. Do you want to read that one?
If you had to taste a bit of Andy's hair, what would it taste like?
It doesn't say actually taste my hair. It's just what would it taste like.
I'm getting like a creamsicle vibe.
Creamsicle?
Maybe? Creamy.
Creamy.
It's like thick. It's lush. Creamsicle.
What do you like most about music?
What a broad question.
Yeah,
what a bait.
Philosophical.
That's
I
like one
it.
of those ones they'd give you on a personality test.
Yeah.
Like if you were a dog, what kind
That's actually what I'm doing right now.
What do I? Yeah.
With psych-evaluating
Some kind of
Sean
like Mormon
Daniel.
trap that I have? What do I like most about
No, it's a
music?
lovely question. I would say how much it can change your state. It can,
Okay, all
music
right.
can make you feel better. Your favorite bands is something to
No,
get passionate
that's
about.
not it. No, it's not positive.
Okay, that's not the right question.
It's,
That's not the right
it's
answer.
being able to argue with people about stuff that like there's no answer for. You know?
Oh no!
Like, really being
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, right. The Beatles suck. You know, you can just say that, and you can't prove me wrong.
Yeah,
but-
and like
yeah, that's a good
everyone,
one.
like everyone else, is supposed to go. Actually, he's right. Actually, no.
Yeah, you
Everything
know what? The Beatles
ever
do
did
suck.
sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
oh,
Thank you for telling me.
Yeah, you know what else? Stevie Wonder, not blind.
How should people discipline themselves when learning guitar online? We should have a good answer for this, shouldn't we? Really?
Yeah, you should subscribe to the
So
two
this is about the-
hippest guitar channels online.
Basically.
Mhm.
But that's a given. So the discipline side of things. You seem like a man who's disciplined.
If nothing else, Andy, I'm a man
Yeah.
of true discipline.
Clearly.
You know, I have a very shame-based way of keeping myself accountable.
There's definitely guilt involved.
Yeah, so
There's no.
Yeah.
What I would say, any time I have a gig booked, that's when you practice the most.
yeah, sure.
And it's all out of not wanting to look stupid.
Yeah, surround yourself with friends who will shame you if you're not doing it.
Yeah, bandmates.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I guess that's my main.
I mean, they're your real friends when
Yeah.
they really shame you.
shame. Well, it's a love shaming.
Here's one for you, definitely, by Jeremy F. Watson. When did you first get into the blues, and whose guitar playing did you particularly admire?
Oh, the blues.
Mr. Bluesman, right
Someone
here.
is asking me about the blues.
Yeah, man.
I first
Obviously, when you were like in 12th grade with, is it Jeremy?
Jason.
Jason.
Like I said, I never got into the blues. I was born with the blues.
And you've been trying to get it out ever since.
Yeah,
through your
and
guitar
I've just
playing.
been trying to feel through it. I mean, does Hendrix count? Because Hendrix was my first guy. Does he
Oh,
count?
okay, so Hendrix
Does he
was
count?
like... Yeah, absolutely.
I almost feel like he doesn't count.
Well,
But
he does. Okay. We're
All
just
right.
going to
Well,
let it count. I would say, for
Jimmy.
me, Chuck Berry and Johnny B. Good,
oh, totally.
which is all the blues dicks you
Yeah.
need, really.
For
In
sure.
many ways. But yeah, that massive
Mm-hmm.
for me, absolutely. What's your favorite album of all time?
Ooh.
I think we might leave it. That's a big one, isn't it? The favorite. It's not the best. Favorite album of all time, I would say something that you can listen to over and over again. Always give you the vibe.
I gotta say, Suzanne Sunfor, The Silicone Veil.
Oh, sweet. I don't know that
Probably not a single guitar in that album either.
one. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be.
Yeah,
No,
that might be my favorite. That's the one that I can always listen to, and it's always on point.
some of my best songwriting ideas or best licks or chord motions,
Mm-hmm.
I know, I learned on another instrument and then found them on guitar. I was trying to copy another instrument.
I'll say
'cause you
three.
guys-
I'll say three.
Okay.
There's that, the guitar player in me, Soundgarden, Super Unknown,
Yeah.
is like by far superior to all the other stuff. And Hiatus Coyote, Choose Your Weapon, for like neo soul R&B stuff. So good. So good. Those are my answers.
I'm going to say AC/DC, Back in Black. 'cause
Oh,
I'm a
yeah?
rocker.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's power, man. It's a power move.
Any time of day, that's all good with me. That could be in my alarm clock and I wouldn't get sick of it,
Cool.
which is a real test. I had a couple of Beatles songs over the years as my alarm clock and they got annoying after a while, even though I love them.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
always a mistake. But yeah, there we go. That was a big questions. Those are the top questions
That's
of
it.
NAMM
So
2020.
concludes
There we
the
go.
QA portion.
Oh,
of it.
Sean, thank you very much for inviting me down. This has been mega. Thank you so much, brother.
Hey, dude, thanks for having me.
All right, for listening homework this week, I'm going to throw you to some awesome, cool singer-songwriter stuff from Sharon Van Etten. Really cool artist, someone who has evolved over the years, big fan. And then, like I said, if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. And then, yeah, check out that MasterClass because I think that coupon's still good for like 2 or 3 more days. It's half off. It's like $15 for basically what is the equivalent of probably like 10 in-person guitar lessons. What a deal. Am I right? So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks.